T-Mobile is no stranger to pushing the boundaries of wireless. And now, we're pushing those boundaries over the border of Mexico and Canada. That's right. T-Mobile is extending coverage and calling to any phone, including mobile, to and from the U.S., Mexico, and Canada at no extra charge. That's coverage in 3 countries for the price of 1. Your 4G LTE data and unlimited talk and text work seamlessly in Mexico and Canada, just like in the U.S. So you can call and text family and friends as much as you want. And use your data just like you do at home. Borders are for countries, not coverage. So don't wait. Switch to the Un-carrier today. Check out T-Mobile.com/3 countries.
Limited time offer subject to change. Device, network, and coverage impact experience and speeds which vary. For U.S. residents with primary use on T-Mobile's U.S. network. Not for extended international use.
Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon, wherever you are. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon to wherever you are in this ever-expanding now moment. Welcome to the Blu-ray Ascension Starseed Show with your host, Natalie Alea.
Hello, everybody.
Myself, Bridget Rao. And today we're going to be talking about the Munay Ki Rites, a shamanic tradition that's been passed down for thousands of years. And Natalie Alea and myself both are sharing this tradition with as many people as possible in hopes of raising the vibration and helping others to reach ascension. And would you like to start? You're the one that brought me to the Munay Ki Rites, so I think.
Yeah, sure. I think it was like in I was going to say 2006 or 2007. I had read, Alberto Belaldo's books, Shaman, Healer, Sage, all those books, and the Munay Ki was big over here in Ireland at that time. And they were having a lot of, the weekends, but it was very expensive. It was extremely expensive. So I couldn't do it, but I was just fascinated by it and always wanted to go to Peru, had this, thing about Peru. And I went, finally, someone was doing a weekend, kind of like what me and you are doing now, where it's like a reasonable price, you get the rights, and then I went to Peru, and I spent a month in Peru and spent some time with the Cuero learning their stuff. And honestly, what I really like about the Munay Ki, it's like they're the tools, but it really is self-driven, and it's about you and your relationship with spirit and your relationship with the Earth Keepers or, whoever you're connecting with or the archetype. So it's very self-driven, and this is just like a tool belt that we use, through the Munay Ki.
Natalie, I can hear you, but I can't hear you very well. Is your volume down a little?
No, it's not. But the thing is, sorry guys, whoever's listening, this is our first time on here, so you can't hear me very well, so I'll have to talk up.
Yeah, it's kind of quiet, but it's also kind of like, like more mumbled.
Is it?
Yeah. Take a cushion away.
Yeah, maybe I will take the cushion away. Hold on. It was saying it was going to help. Is that better?
Yeah, that's a little better now.
Okay. So I think with the Munay Ki anyway that a lot of people think, well, how do I heal? You have that question too. How do I use it for healing? It doesn't really work that way. They are initiations. They will heal you, but you pass on the Munay Ki, but it does inform your own healing and your own work because you're connected with all the archetypes now. You're doing all this other stuff, and that's going to impact your work, and you'll just know what to do. It's like it just gives you the knowledge.
Right. Yeah, and when I first started the Munay Ki, I had, no clue. I mean, the first time you had sent me a message, you're like, blah, 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 you do the apus and this and that and this and this. And I'm like, huh? So I did a lot of, research separately because, you know, in the classes that I teach now, like, well, you know, there's so much information that we kind of just take it one step at a time, and I try to remember the things that I had to look up to tell them now. So, like, you know, even like Viracocha or Quero or Apus or anything like that. It's just like Pachamama. Some people don't know. Yeah, it's like learning a new language. So to us, to me now, it's like second nature. I know what they mean, and I just say them. But when I am teaching the class, you know, people kind of give you a look like, what's that? So, but by the end of all the rites, it was like, boom, just all this information was there for each rite, and and it just keeps evolving and keeps evolving.
Well, you told me an interesting story, and it's such a Munay Ki story, because they say that, you know, we do have this information stored in us, and the Munay Ki is just really awakening it. And you had a story about the Viracocha, or was it the opening prayer? I forget. You had a story, and it was exactly what was in the written material, and you were like, oh, my gosh. I knew it already.
Yeah. When I first started teaching the Munay Ki, I went and I found, I Googled opening sacred space, because I wanted to print out stuff for people to have so that, you know, they knew the aspects of open and sacred space, like addressing the directions and things like that.
Right.
So I picked out a prayer, and I was like, oh, this is perfect, because it calls to the south and it calls the serpent in, and it really connects with some of the archetypes from the Munay Ki. So I was like, oh, this is perfect, and it will help them to start remembering the archetypes. And I printed it out, and I gave it to everybody on the first day. And then I have a friend who received Munay Ki rites in Peru, and he went through 4 wins with, the big money one. And it's like Alberto Vellotto's manual, and he showed me the manual, and on the first 2 pages is the information about opening sacred space. And I had printed out stuff about Viracocha too, so they talk about that, and the prayer that they gave in the manual is the exact same one that I printed out. And I was like, woohoo!
Yeah.
It was just confirmation, hey, you're on the right path.
Yeah, and, one of the things that I like about the Munay Ki is it's not just about the past, it's also about connecting with our future selves and the future generations and bringing knowledge from them back. And I think that's where Starseeds really can connect, because we already connect off-world, if you want to say, because we understand or connect with our soul, that we've come from different places. And the thing about connecting with the future generations, I mean, a lot of the different cultures obviously have a lot of ancestor worship, and, we wouldn't be here without them. But to really connect with these future generations, it's pretty cool. And you get loads of new information then, stuff that hasn't come in yet.
Yeah, and I like the fact that, we're able to heal the past, but also reach forward into the future and pull back, stepping into different timelines, like how they kind of... Mm-hmm. It's just cool, and it's funny, because as you go through the Munay Ki, I mean, some of this stuff sounds far-fetched, we're going to be healing our DNA, and we're going to be, stepping out of linear time. But when you start really doing the work and you start giving the rights to other people, I've noticed it amplifies. I started, when I'm doing meditations, I feel like my body leaves the spot that I'm sitting in. First time I felt like I was 1,000 feet up in the air. The next time it felt like the 2 girls that were there, I had my eyes closed, felt like they went shooting miles away from me. So I started talking louder for the meditation. And when I opened my eyes, they were right there. Yeah, and it does it in your physical life too, just everyday stuff. You walk into a room and you think everything in there is falling over or something. You run over to pick up a chair that's not even moving. And, even my mom's going through the Munay Ki rites, and she's being able to...
Beautiful.
Yeah, she is. She's able to see better, and she's hearing more. And, it's cool to see how it affects everybody on a different level. And the people who actually stick with it and like do the meditations and really work on it, they open up so fast and quick. Like my friend Joan, she just finished the last rite yesterday, but she's been there every week from the first one to now, and she's doing so awesome. And my friend Jen too, she did them quick. She was like me. She's like, give me another one, give me another one, give me another one. Okay.
Yeah, some people
and that's fine. And I think some people need time in between. And like, you know, I noticed like some people will do the foundation rites and then they're gone. And then they'll come back, you know, months later. I did the first 2 rites with a group of people, and now they're just coming back on their own in separate ways to continue on with the tradition. But it just depends on where you are at your life.
It is. It has to suit you, and you know how they say the teacher will come, or the teaching will come when you need it, or you know when you are ready. And
right,
so
when you are ready, the teacher like appears.
The ride can be quite intensive, and so some people take a little bit longer to integrate them. Yeah. Because any kind of it is an initiation. You know, originally, like among the Cuero. Now they call themselves Pacos, not shamans, but the Pacos would, you know, be learning for years. And there's actually many rites among the Cuero. It's just that Vilaldo worked with one Paco, and he created this framework. And he was like, okay, what are let's say he came up with the 9 rites that, you know, you would think would encompass in general. But each tribe and different people in the Cuero have there's really hundreds of rites if you think about it. Yeah. In the manual that I have, you know, yeah. Mm-hmm. I actually found it on the computer somewhere, and I printed it out, and it tells us everywhere that the rites are from that he has. So you know, like they explain to you, the Seer's Rite was practiced in the North Coast peoples of Peru. In the Seers and Trackers of the Amazon. The Harmony Rite was from the lowland Cuero of the Huachaparari people. And then the Bands of Power were transmitted by Juan Victor Nunez del Prado, whose father was the discoverers of Cuero Nation. The Healer's Rite is the Hampi Blessing, and it comes from the Highland Cuero. The Daykeeper's Rite is known among the Andean Pacos, and the Pampa Paseoc, referring to the lowlands and valleys of the Pampa, and to the mesa or altar. Wisdom Keeper is among the Andean Pacos, and the Altamoseoc Rite, referring to the high mountains of the Andes. Earth Keeper Rite is known among the Andean Pacos, and the Curaca Rite, referring to the elder who masticates the wisdom to nurture the young ones who follow. And then the Star Keeper Rite is known as Mosic Carpe, which means the new rite in the Quechua language. This rite announces and prepares one for the time to come. And the creator rites are known as the Tatanachi's Rite. The word Tatanachi literally translate that in there so people could understand, like, it's not just, you know, like they weren't one place just sitting there doing all these rites. No, he put them together. He actually did a lot of work. He worked with one. He gathered them together and used them as a framework. And I think he had a mission, you know, to get them out to people. But they're actually like each tribe. There's other ones too that they have, like there's, you know, specialties. They have, you know, their own little specialties too. I received a rite in a hot spring up in Pisac. I don't even know what rite I received, Bridget. And this was after I received the 9 Munay Ki Rites, but there was a Paco there, and I was swimming, and I was with a couple of different other women. And he's like, oh, would you like, you know, do you know the Munay Ki? We're like, yeah, we received them. Well, I'll give you a rite or whatever from his tribe. And he just laid his hands on our head or whatever and passed it on. And it was like, okay, cool, thanks.
Yeah. My friend was telling me about, there's like these real feminine ones that they have. And there's like, you know, it's similar to the Munay Ki, but it's more of a feminine one. And you go there, and it's like a couple of weeks process. I can't remember the name of it. I'll get the name of it for the next time we talk. But I really want to do it because it sounds really cool.
Before too, it was that it took them years to do this. And Vilaldo and I guess the Paco that you worked with both were like, yeah, the time, you know, the earth cannot wait years. now. Humanity.
Right.
Well, the Earth could, but humanity can't.
Right. And I tell people, because I think some people get caught up in the fact, like when you tell, there's a part where it's like, they were doing this for preparation of 2012. Instead of having spirit to human transitions, it started becoming, person to person. They started spreading this out there, getting it out among the people. And it was before 2012. But the thing is, 2012 happened, but we're still shifting, and we're still striving to reach, that state. I mean, it's all about bringing in harmony and love and becoming a steward for all of creation. And that's not something that 2012 is a cutoff for. It's something that, that was one of the reasons why they started doing it then. Because I think some people are like, they see 2000, they're like, oh, it's already done and over. I'm like, yeah, but is Earth okay?
Yeah, the whole thing with the 2000, something did shift in 2012, no doubt about it. Things sped up, but the few doomsayers who were like, it's the end of the world as we know it, they seem to get the louder voice, but there was a whole bunch of other spiritual people and people tuned in who were saying, no, I got the download, did you?
Right. I feel like 2012 was just the start of this work. It seems like so many more people are doing this type of thing, and it's just growing and growing, and more people are like, what are you doing? I want to do that, because they see the shift in you. Like, from when I did the Munay Ki with you, I mean, to now, everybody's like, oh my God, they see a huge shift in how I am. And, Jamie, my fiance, is kind of like, what the hell? Like, he thinks that I'm going to, he's like, we're going down separate paths, you're leaving. I'm like, I'm not leaving. I'm doing something different than I've ever done for the past 8 years. I don't get really, pissed off anymore, with stupid things. Things kind of just bounce off of me. More abundance is coming in. It's just, you do bring in, more peace into your life and a new perspective on things when you're looking at a situation. People come to you and they're like, blah, 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 and you can look at it from an outside, or, have them look at it from the other person's point of view. Even, I've found with myself and my other friend, she's like, I could not stand being around spiders. And now she's assisting them out of the bathtub so they don't get killed. And that's the thing. It's like becoming, loving all of creation, from a little tiny thing of sand all the way to the biggest part of the universe and everything in between there. It's all sacred, and you don't, just because it's a spider, you don't need to kill it. And I've actually gotten a lot better with that. I don't kill them anymore. I used to be like, and freeze, and get up like a broom and run across the room.
Now.
Oh my God, and they're so tiny. It's like, what is wrong with you? We're not afraid of a hummingbird. A hummingbird's a lot bigger.
And could peck at you. But the other thing I really think is important with the Munay Ki is that it's almost like it's self-taught. You receive a download. The download, basically, the Munay Ki is passed forehead to forehead, or let's say third eye to third eye. All the other stuff is an energetic, immediate transmission. I do believe that, and that's what they say. But, all the other stuff, like putting the hands here, doing that, I think that helps, but I think the transmission of the right is instant, honestly.
Yeah. I've noticed people, before they come to get the right, they're already experiencing.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, yes, absolutely. They're already, getting activated, because it's an energetic thing. So it happens almost instantaneously.
Yeah.
And then you get your own, downloads, basically, and you start to understand where they're coming from. They are healing for people too. So for people that may be interested in getting the right, you may have some reactions to them too. It can bring up stuff. Some people get sick. Some people get, like, let's say, ungrounded, or, you know, if their issues come up, if it's clearing out pain that you haven't faced yet, well, you will face it then, you know.
Right, and that brings up a good point, because I do the first two rites together. I do the healer's rite and the bands of power, because I've noticed when we do the healer's rite, you know, you're activating the healing ability in your hands, but you're also opening up your heart, and you're bringing up stuff from the past, from your ancestors, from, you know, thousands of years ago that needs to be healed. And it may not even, like, make any sense to you what comes up, but, you know, it can be emotional. It can be, you know, can kind of hurt at first, and it's good because it's coming up to be healed. It's no longer to be stored in your DNA. You're getting rid of that stuff. But with the bands of power, I like to give it as like a tool, because when that stuff comes up, you know, you have 5 different spots in your body now that you can kind of like hold on to. So like say you get angry, take the fire and burn it away, because you know people don't know, it's 5 different elements. We put bands around your luminous energy field, and all relate to a different element. So you can take things and they transmute it into fertilizer for Pachamama, or they turn it into water and wash away, whatever it is. But giving somebody a tool to use when that stuff starts coming up is big for them. I had a group last night, and each one of them at the end had felt something different, and they're like, why do I feel like this? And it's like, it may not even be your stuff that you're feeling. It may be something from an ancestor. It may be something from your past that you can't put your finger on right now, but take it and send it to be transmuted. And they were like, oh, my God, thank you so much. I needed to hear that so I know what to do with this, and that they're not crazy for feeling what they felt. You know, because everyone's like, oh, that's great. And they're like, why do I feel like this?
Yes, why do I feel like this? And then it's like, oh, you ancestors.
Right? Like, you must have had somebody up in there that's, like, all pissed off and ready to fight.
And just, you know, sometimes, too, when you're hurt by something, and yet you wouldn't usually be hurt by it. It's usually, or it wouldn't usually trigger you. A lot of times that can be ancestral stuff that's coming up. It's like a memory. It's like an echo coming in from your ancestor, and they're like, oh, you know, it's almost like their gene or their energy or whatever you got from them, that memory is passed on, and you're remembering it, and maybe even remembering the shame or the guilt or the anger, but you just feel like, this isn't me. Always when I feel like a strong emotion like that, I'll usually try to go through and say, okay, is it me? Or, you know, is it ancestral, or is it someone else, or is it just random, you know, process of elimination. Yeah.
It's weird to see, you know, in the beginning to figure that stuff out, like, oh my God, what is this? But it's good, and I've noticed with the harmony rite, because the harmony rite comes after, it kind of brings them back down, and like, you know, it kind of settles that stuff out for them. You know what I mean? Like they start to become more
harmony rite, though, because it's maybe they have problems with their power, because it is about power. The harmony rite, I think, in a way.
Right, but like once they've got it, they seem to not have as much shit going on, like with their like upset and stuff. You know, I like with myself too. When I got the harmony rite, I felt, you know, more grounded and more like, I guess, within power. You know, you have more power.
Yes, you step into your power more. And we talked about this on another show, too, the archetypes. I mean, they're just great because the animals, the power animals, are basically like another tool. They're a helper. They're an ally. So they go get the information and bring it back to us. We just interpret it or receive the message.
Right. I actually use, and I tell people, too, because when you're doing Reiki or Shambhala or whatever type of energy work that you do, you can connect with these archetypes and bring them in to help heal and balance the different chakras and stuff. Like, you know, I'll call on Pachamama to help ground people. You know, I'll call on the serpent at the root, the jaguar at the sacral. It depends. I mean, not for every person. If and sometimes not at all. But if someone has a lot of crap going on in one of the areas, I'll call on the archetype to come in and assist.
And they know what to do, the archetypes. Like, that's the thing that people don't realize, that, the animal, whatever the animal does, it does it the best. That animal is, almost like, like with cats, it's intuition and stuff like that. And then, dogs, loyalty, friendship, if you're looking at power animals. So when you call that animal in, they're perfect for that job, whatever it is that you want to do to call them in for.
Right.
They know exactly what to do. You don't have to kind of like go think about it almost. They'll do it for you.
Yes, yeah.
And
even with the daykeepers and stuff.
So a lot of people really love the Earth Keeper rite, I find.
Sorry, my dog got out of the friggin' yard. I'm a little distracted. I had my mom watching them, and she's like, "Honey bunny, go out." I'm like,
Okay, wieners. Little wieners.
No, stay. Now the other one's up.
So we said it was Munay Ki and Starseeds. I just find that Starseeds really respond well to it. I had an event on Facebook, and actually a lot of Starseeds went into it. And I just think, though, some people, not everyone connects with it, and that's fine. I think it's a good way to, like, do the first two rites and see if you like it, see how you adjust to it, and then continue on if you want. But Starseeds, it's like this is maybe an activation that is waiting for them, because it'll activate their own process that, like, has nothing to do with Munay Ki. It just activates the DNA or clears out their energy field so they can hear the message. Because a lot of times people are getting the messages, but they just can't hear it because there's so much other stuff going on.
Right, yeah. And I think some people, like they say, it's like you'll get called to do it. You may just start doing it at one point. You may not be ready to do it, but I think that you'll know if it connects and resonates. And I think a lot of times, too, people kind of they get maybe discouraged because they don't know at first. But as they start going through it, it gets more obvious, and you get more and more connection. So some people really take to it right away, and some people are just like, I don't know,
Yeah, it takes them a little longer to kind of understand. And then, just to really encourage people that do get the rights to do the meditations. Now, the meditations, the 14 weeks, that's a guideline. If you've been doing a lot of work, you've probably already done a lot of work on yourself. But I think people that really haven't done a lot of work, they really need to do the 14 weeks.
Right, and I tell people that they'll know when you're, I'll say, when you're good with starting archetypes. And I tell people, too, don't go on and just start passing on rights until you're comfortable. Like, they say you can start passing them on as soon as you've got the first two, and then after you do the 14 weeks of meditations. But, I wasn't comfortable enough to start passing them on until, I had all of them, and I got time to kind of practice. And I practiced with people before I ever started an official class. Last night was the first night of my actual class. The other time that I was doing rites are either been one-on-one or with friends for, I'd gift them or trade for them.
Right.
Sorry, I'm all out of breath.
How was your class, by the way?
Oh, it was great. There were 7 people who were going to come, but some of them have already gone through the rites. They were just coming to kind of watch and get a better idea on how to transmit them. But I have 4 new ones who are there getting the rites for the first time.
That's fantastic.
And they really, it was a really good class. It was the perfect people were there together because they really connected and were able to share with each other.
Mm-hmm. Whew. Yeah, and there is, we have about 90 seconds left, so we are going to continue on over on Google Hangouts on the Blu-ray Ascension Seed show when this ends. I don't know for part one. Do we end? I guess we should properly end this one, though.
Okay, so we could should we just put the link in the comments and have them continue on over?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know if I can have how to do that. Do I do it in the chat, or how do I do it in the comment, or is it afterwards? I don't know. Maybe
afterwards.
the episode. So. Okay, so you can connect with me at www.leiahealingservices.com and Starseed Shaman on Facebook. And Bridget?
I'm at becreativellyu.com, or you can find me at Bridget Rao on Facebook. Divine Essentials, New Paradigm Healing page, and that's about it.
Yeah, and we have the Blu-ray Ascension on page on Facebook, Google Plus, and a YouTube channel, and of course on Blog Talk Radio. And thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Okay, are you still there? It's done.